Hey friends, today I'd like to talk to you about a book I just finished reading, and it's called Chatter. It's by Kross. He gives us some tools in the book Chatter to deal with all those voices in our heads, a lot of negative thinking, a lot of things that just stress us out. And I think there's some good applications here for us in our marriages. When you are having trouble with a situation that you're involved in, one of the keys that he tells you to use in this book is something he calls distanced self-talk. What is that exactly? Well, it's talking to yourself in your mind using the word you or using your name. How would that sound? It'd be like, you really don't need to feel this way. Or in my case, I might use my name, Marcy. What else could you do? Marcy, this isn't helping you. Marcy, what do you think is the best course of action? Believe it or not, the talking to yourself in that manner is very helpful in distancing yourself from the problem. The second piece of advice, and I think this is really good too. What would you tell your friend? What advice would you tell your friend if they were in the same circumstance? If your friend was having trouble with their husband, maybe the same situation that you're in right now, what would you tell them to do? It's amazing how much more clarity we have when we're giving advice to other people than when we are dealing with it ourselves. We're just too close to the situation. So what advice would you give to your friend if they were in the similar circumstance? Another thing that you can do is to broaden your perspective. So if you think about what you're dealing with and you examine it as compared to what other people have dealt with in their lives, or even your own life, can you compare it with other circumstances and how you got through those? So when you compare them, it broadens your perspective. Other people have had similar circumstances. Other people have even had worse circumstances, and yet they pulled through, and so can you. So that's another way to deal with the chatter. Broaden your perspective. Another thing that's very helpful is to reframe the problem as a challenge that can be overcome. You've got this. You don't need to think of it as insurmountable or too hard for you. Reframe it as a challenge. You can take on that challenge. The next thing in my notes is to reinterpret your body's chatter response as something that is there to help you. So what do I mean by that? Oh, sometimes you might get sweaty palms, or tummy starts having butterflies in it. All of those things are your body's way of helping you. So interpret it that way instead of seeing it as nervousness or whatever. Another thing you can do is normalize your experience. Realize, hey, what I'm going through is not uncommon to mankind, womankind. It's not uncommon for wives to feel this way or to have these troubles. And the way you can do that is refer to people in general as you. So when you're talking about your negative experience, you can say, you tend to feel this way when something like this happens. It's not unusual for you to want to do such and such. Refer to it as something that is you in general, as to all people, all women. The next thing you can do to deal with your chatter is to engage in mental time travel. What does that look like? Well, put yourself ahead in time. How would I feel about this in a year from now? Will I think differently about this 5, 10 years later? When you can mentally time travel, that's another way you can distance yourself and put some perspective into your situation. And then change your view. All right, what if you could imagine yourself outside of the situation looking in, like a fly on the wall perspective? How would you see your situation that way? And how does your distant self feel? Do they still feel the same? When you take yourself out of the situation and look at your situation from a person outside looking in, does it still feel the same way? Probably doesn't. Here's one of my favorites. I've been doing this long before I ever read it was a good thing. Write expressively. Get out a journal. Write down all that you're thinking and feeling surrounding this negative experience. And you can do that for 15 to 20 minutes, not checking your grammar, not worrying about your punctuation or whether what you're saying is right or wrong. Write expressively, 15 to 20 minutes, 1 to 3 days, however long it takes to get you to have a different change in perspective. You become the narrator on this negative experience when you write expressively. Another idea, adopt a third-party perspective. You are the person who's mediating and trying to come up with a solution that meets everybody's needs. Next, never underestimate the placebo effect. So if there is something that you like, that you feel is helpful to you, then it will be helpful to you. For instance, sports teams who wear the same pair of socks for their games because they won the game before in those pair of socks. It's something like Dumbo's magic feather, that when he had that feather in his trunk, he felt like he could fly. It's the same effect, the placebo effect. If you believe something will help you, then you really will be helped by it. Another thing that he suggests that you can do to help yourself is to perform a ritual. What could that ritual be? It just might be the same thing, the same routine that you do every morning, just to bring a sense of calm and peace and order into your situation. All right, 3 more. This is about your environment. If you can bring order to your outside environment, your home, your room, even just your desk, if you can bring order to that area, it brings order inside as well. So tidy up. There really is magic in tidying up. I think we all know how good it is to be outside and just to take a walk. But this can really help your mental chatter. Being in green spaces provides a calming experience for you, and it helps bring clarity and thought. If you live in a city environment, an urban landscape where you don't really get a lot of green spaces, you can still benefit from this by using just pictures, photographs of beautiful landscapes and things that you can see right on your computer screen. So don't lament, just watching, viewing those beautiful landscapes, those natural environments can have a calming effect on you. And the last thing I want to express to you is to seek out awe-inspiring moments. It could be the beauty of a sunset or a sunrise. It could be an amazing vista of mountain landscapes